Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robin Young, and I'm the publisher of Orthopedics This Week. And here are the top 10 stories of the week for the week of January 30th, 2023. And let's start with number 10, and that would be our power rankings. We survey 26 of the largest orthopedic and spine suppliers each week. This represents 80% of the $25 billion industry. So we rank them. Rank the top 10. Be sure to check our Power Rankings podcast or go to our website at ryortho.com and read it for yourself. So our number 9 story this week is news that 2 virtual online orthopedic suppliers, or put another way, 2 suppliers of online virtual services, MD Save and View FI, are partnering up. No doubt, moving to be more of a one-stop shop for orthopedic care in the virtual world. But if you're interested in reality, details are at ryortho.com. And our number 8 story this week comes from Arthrex. They just received their FDA clearance for a novel system to reconstruct PCL and ACL in children. That's anterior cruciate ligament for those who are new to the acronyms. We have, of course, the details at ryortho.com. Our 7th story this week is probably the number one question athletes ask their healthcare provider, which is, when can I get back to playing my sport? With regards to overhead throwing athletes, pitchers, football quarterbacks, and so forth, and you know who you are, this new study, which enrolled 736 patients, has some answers you can use. Our number 6 story is about umbilical stromal cells. Now, these are living cells. Now, the question is, do they do anything to help rotator cuff repair? This newly published peer-reviewed Australian study found evidence that indeed these MSC stromal cells do affect rotator cuff repair rates. Check it out on our website. Coming in at number 5 is a story about a North Mississippi ortho practice that ran afoul of the Medicare and Medicaid billing rules. To settle those claims, the practice, Midius, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Midius Ortho, agreed to pay $1.8 million. And that's obviously no fun. We have the details, of course. And our number 4 story this week, this is an interesting study out of South Korea, which looked for evidence of a dose-response curve when it comes to HbA1c levels and rotator cuff repair outcomes. We know already that full-blown diabetic patients are at higher risk of suboptimal outcomes, but wondered, these sharp researchers, can we calibrate that risk? So they designed an interesting study with 103 patients, roughly half in the control arm, half in the study arm, and came up with indeed some calibrations. You can measure that HbA1c level and get an idea of what kind of adverse outcomes your patient might be at risk for. So go to ryortho.com and get all of those very handy details. Number 3, our 3rd story this week is news from the Viscogliosi brothers Meta Universe. You may recall that this New York-based family investment firm, which focuses exclusively on investing in musculoskeletal repair, raised a fair amount of capital in 2022. What did they spend their money on? Well, this announcement that Companion Spine, a French-based company, is acquiring yet another French-based company, Backbone SAS. Well, that's one thing these guys spent the money on. As always, this story is very interesting news about how the VB Metaverse is investing their funds. Our number 2 story this week is about hearing loss from performing reconstruction and other musculoskeletal surgery. Hadn't heard about this problem? Maybe you need to get your hearing checked. This new study found clear evidence that those saws, those drills, and other tools are extracting a toll in the form of long-term hearing damage. Clearly a must-read for all orthopedic surgeons and anyone else that spends time in the OR. Finally, our number 1 story, this is from Australia, and it concerns a new hip arthroplasty navigation system, which is working its way to the U.S. market. The system, which you can see in that thumbnail image, can be calibrated in just 60 seconds in the OR. Furthermore, its internal DNA is derived from the world of aeronautical navigation. What that exactly means, I'm not so sure, but I 100% understand the value of a 1-minute calibration. Naturally, there's much more to this story, and naturally, we do have all the details. So for more information about these stories and all other ones we have published, go to ryortho.com. Thank you all very much and have a great week.